Most of you know that crypto exchange
There we go. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I clicked the run the ad button instead of the run Tom button. We'll be with you shortly as we get started here. For those of you watching already, thank you for tuning in. Just a little housekeeping before we get started. As always, if you're watching on your desktop, everything is great. If you're one of the 60% of people that catch us on mobile, and you need to multitask, want to look at your email, that type of stuff first. You know, if you're watching on YouTube and you put us in the background, unless you pay for Premiere, it goes away. So you can switch over to the LinkedIn app or the Twitch app, and you can watch us and listen to us in the background while you multitask in the foreground. Pedro, I got to remember to repeat that every now and then.
Absolutely. And like, subscribe, and share.
Yeah. We're just getting started waiting for the viewership to fill up. So I'm going to type that out. So Pedro, give us the pitch on like, sharing, and following.
Yeah, please. I mean, one thing, just tell us where you guys are coming from, where you hailing from, or where you want us to let you know where you're hailing from. I mean, you could be in Saskatchewan somewhere, and just say you're from California. Hey, we just want the engagement. That's all we want. But tell us your favorite color. Tell us even the last time you sat on a cold porcelain toilet. That's weird. Anyways, so but just tell us who you are, what's going on, and why you are happy today. It could be just the fact that you woke up and you can move your toes and you have your pinky toe. People don't realize having a pinky toe is really important.
Yeah, that's one of the hot topics of the day.
Real hot topic. Having a pinky toe
separates us from the rest of them. All right, everybody. As I always like to say, let's get this show started. Good morning, everybody. It is November 22nd, 2020. That's right, 2023. I can't believe it's Christmas season, and it's only Christmas is only 5 weeks away, or 6 weeks away, whatever the heck it is. There's not enough time to get everything done, and it was not even Thanksgiving here in the U.S. Anyway, good morning, everybody. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here in the digital media world. I'm glad to be hosting DYOR Live here on the DYOR Media Network. We're growing, everybody. We're growing like crazy. We've got at least one more viewer today than we did last week, so it's a big percentage. Big percentage. Woo! And we got Pedro Garcia on the mic here. Pedro, good morning.
What up? Good morning. How's everyone doing?
Everyone's doing good here in Chicago. How's everyone doing wherever in the world you are?
I think it's going well. It's shiny and nice and pretty outside, with a cast of overcast.
Doomy and gloomy here in Chicago. Cold. That's about 5 degrees C. Whatever the hell that is, 38, 39 Fahrenheit, and gray.
Well,
But I gotta tell you, Pedro, it's bright and blue in our new studio.
Oh yeah.
Now, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, that's what I wanted to do. Ladies and gentlemen, we're just testing out this new studio. Nice little easy morning show on a light Thanksgiving week. Why gotta get the comments going here? There's a guarantee. If everyone knows, I'm a one-man show here running the tech end of this while I try to entertain everybody out here. But where is my? Yeah, there it is. I screw things up. I already have one under my belt today. Instead of running me, I ran the first 2 seconds of our ad for our sponsor.
You know.
It does happen. But where is? Hold on. I'm trying to get our comments up here. But anyway, good morning to everybody. We've got a good show for you today. As I always say, and as Pedro and I always have good things to talk about, is because crypto is never boring. It's never boring. There's never a week of just how'd it go, Chad?
The market was fine all week. Going home to have relations with the wife now.
It was. It's every week. It's like I can't get home to have relations with the wife. It's nothing. I can't do it. Let's see here. And so we got the big news, obviously, of CZ and Binance and all that stuff going on. All right. I seem to have the comments here. We got Millsy, Eco. Millsy, thank you for joining us. We have Chuck Jansen posted morning Chuck, but he posted it before I got the comment section up and running. So thanks Chuck for watching. Chuck's watching from the Chuck. If you're still watching, comment and where in the country you are watching us from,
or where you would like to be,
or where you'd like to be. Right. Either or. And of course, we've got Pedro Garcia here. Good morning, everybody. And of course, me saying good morning, everyone. Welcome, like, share, follow, comment. Just do it now. Do it now. We got Kling Ka-ching on here. Oh, a lot of echo. Oh, come on, really? No. Oh yeah. I got the echo on. God damn! See, I told you guys. I told you. It's because I got that button clicked. Ka-ching! It should be fixed now. When I talk to Pedro behind the scenes, I have one setting, and when I talk on the air, I have another. And sometimes I have them both on. And that's what that was. So it should be fixed now. It's not really an echo. I bet you it was a hard reverb, right? Yep. Anyway, Millsy, thanks for mentioning that. I didn't catch that till King Ka-ching came on. Anyway, Pedro, let's not beat around the bush anymore. We got some news to talk about. First, before we get into BTX, I want to hit on a couple of things. Let's see here. Let's get into which new view. I got a new studio, so I'm a little slow on this here, ladies and gentlemen. The close-up view. Here we go. Let's turn the center TV on. There's been a couple of hacks over the past few days here that have been rather interesting.
Noteworthy.
Yeah, noteworthy is a good way to say it. And where is it? Oh yeah, Mr. Justin Soon. This guy. I don't know why I don't do a whole season of Rugged, Ruined, and Wrecked on him. He confirms that HTX and his Heco chain exploited after $100 million in suspicious transfers. This is just in the past day. And here's Justin like, it's terrible. And he says, oh, we're hacked. Oh, it's terrible. But I'm gonna cover it. I'm going to cover it personally to make sure that everyone's whole. Now, where's this guy getting all his money? Now, the interesting part about this, ladies and gentlemen, is that I was like, oh, this is an old story. Why is it in the news? No, he's involved with another project called Poloniex. And they got hacked last week, or on the 10th, for $126 million. Now, isn't that convenient? That he loses $126 million, says, oh, I'm going to cover, Justin Soon says, I'm going to cover everyone at Poloniex. And then only a week later, he gets his other exchange hacked and says, I'm going to cover. Do you get the feeling he's stealing from one project to another? I don't know, but it's $226 million of your money, ladies and gentlemen. Well, mostly people from China's money who can't watch the show anyway. That went bye-bye. Just overnight. Now, admittingly, the exchanges got a bunch of the money and held on to a bunch, and so the total hack will probably only be like 30 or 40 million that went to Tornado Cash. But still, one guy runs two projects. Both get hacked for over $100 million. Now, I have this question for everybody. See if you can follow me on this question. Where do you get all this money for your projects? How many of you guys, Pedro, Chuck watching, Crypto Mike, King Kaching, Miley, how many of you guys have been in projects, or gals, how many of you people of unknown genders, but it's your right to be whatever gender you want, have been in a project in which you just have $100 million, or you have $200 or $300 million and only $100 million of it gets stolen twice? But how many of you are just in any project that's worth that much? Nope.
No.
Nope,
Especially
none of us. This guy's in two. I mean, come on. I don't get it.
Well, I mean, have you checked out his chart? I mean, he's doing really well. I mean, his project is doing really well.
You got it up
So
there
I,
on your chart
yeah,
there?
I mean, yeah, I'm looking at TRX right now, Tron, and I am just like impressive. Like it's
Hold on, let me see
impressive.
if I can get this right here, Pedro. That should be right. Now you're on the screen with me.
Yeah, it's doing really impressive. I mean, if you look at it, it's
For all we can use, this is one of your charts with a million lines on it.
no, I'm deleting it right now. So,
There we go. That's incredible. How is that even possible?
yeah, I mean, it's impressive. Like really, I mean, let's look at let's look at Bitcoin right now, right? Like Bitcoin, you know what I'm saying? It's maybe we're halfway, and we're sitting at 36,000. Our high was, 70,000,
Yep.
right? And so, about halfway. And if you look at the Tron, I mean, the peak is 18, and they're at, okay, never mind. So they're at 10. That's about right. Okay, they're a little higher. They're doing better. I looked at the high here, and this is where I was sitting there going like, that's 11, and they're 18. So that makes sense. But I mean, it's still, it's a pretty open market here that I was watching. I was just like impressed. I'm impressed. I don't know if they just have a lot of transactions. I know that they do have a lot of transactions going on their network.
Yeah.
I know that they have a lot of good tech, supposedly. So, and their stable coin, how was it? USD.
Yeah.
Okay, what their
But still, I mean, I'm speechless. I mean, there's got to be huge pay. I can't even describe it. I mean, there's so many conspiracy theories running through my head here. Like, basically, we all know in order to do a lot of business in China and Asia and stuff like that, you got to pay the man. And it just seems like these hacks are cover for bribes. My opinion, obviously, about that. No, nobody's saying that happened, but I mean, you either, if you don't pay these bribes over there or pay, it's like the mafia. You got to pay up the levels, and if you don't do that, you disappear. And we've seen a number of billionaire CEOs of companies over there that have disappeared, and then when they come back, they've seen the light.
the right song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All is good with them. They're not the CEO anymore. They've like, well, I've gone into retirement to be with family, and everything's great. And we all know what happened. we all know they got the we'll call it the old dark, dank room with the light and the cables connected to the batteries, and so. But anyway, so I digress on this. It just drives me crazy because it brings such a bad name. We're trying so hard to bring good information to viewers, the people that run all these projects are trying to bring good products to really build a product, and the industry is trying so well to grow and mature. And then you get chumps like this guy. Just drives you crazy. Just drives you crazy. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get into BTC and the markets. What's going on, Pedro, with the pumpage and the dumpage?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Just to put this, I mean, going back to what's going on with Tron, I mean, I'm just shocked to see how they're. I want to make sure. Let me make sure, because I think their stablecoin as USDD. I'm almost positive, but I'm just gonna check it here real quick. TRX.
What is TRX stablecoin? Of course, an ad for Fidelity.
There we are, USDD. I thought so, but I just wanted to make sure before I start. Yeah, look at this. This is a huge. Look at their DPEG last week, dude. They went down to 88 cents.
Wow.
Yeah, so something happened. Like, that is. I remember when this DPEG happened. I mean, I kept talking about it because nobody was bringing it up. They had DPEG'd and we're down at 95, and I was like, this was back here going. I go, what's going on? You know, and I actually have a friend of mine who knows him personally that went to school with him. And she was telling me, she's like, yeah, I'll reach out to him and see, you know. And I said, yeah, you know, like, that's important. And I'm a small show at the time, so it was like, it's still I'm a small show, but it was one of those things that I was sitting there talking to her like, this isn't good. Like this isn't about confidence. And so, you know, shortly after, it shot back up, right? It just kind of came up, and then it went up to $1.10, and it's like, holy crap, find an equilibrium, dude. Like you're supposed to be to $1. You know what I'm saying? That's where you're supposed to sit at. That's what makes you strong. So, but that 88 cents is nuts. That's nuts. Anyways, so let's go ahead, and then the US dollar, right? Like, where's it's ping, right? Anyways, so we're talking and we're looking for security here, and there is no security. Anyways, so with a few things I want to just talk about. So again, we're at this monthly supply zone here. We've been testing it and trying to go. We've sold off the news of what's happening with CZ, and again, it's like, I don't want to say that there's news for the market or the market is for the news. I don't know. Like I say, I mean, because then now we're playing with Hamas attacking Israel, but it's interesting that we are having a difficult time getting above this 37,000 mark, and all of a sudden really bad news comes out regarding CZ and its relationship with potential Hamas and a lot of terrorist groups doing transactions. And that in itself is, first of all, just it's saddening, right? That happened, and that they're actually using this. I mean, Janet Yellen's comment yesterday in relationship to Bitcoin saying, or to cryptocurrency saying, listen, we ain't playing with you guys. Like, you guys either come along into the Fed system, or we're going after you and y'all going to jail. Like, we will use well, she didn't say that, but what she did say is, we will use every single tool available to us to bring you down. In a nutshell. And obviously I'm paraphrasing there, but it was really interesting to see what she said and how she said it. There wasn't like, she's not playing supposedly anymore.
No, I can't stress enough on that topic. We can go on forever, but I'm bumping into your BTC analysis. I'll put it on the list to talk about later. Because it's good. It just drives me crazy that they're like, oh my God, Hamas got $17 million in crypto over the past 15 years. Well, they got $17 million worth of credit card fraud yesterday. All right, so who's talking about that?
Yeah, absolutely. But either way, it's one of those things that we're seeing a black guy in relationship to crypto. And even in all of that, we're at the point where we're at a supply zone and there's news coming out basically trying to bring a sell-off. And in that midst, you can see Bitcoin's holding strong. Like I still am a proponent of it coming down to this 30,000 mark area in these areas here. I do. I mean, it's just we're not seeing a ton of volume step in again into the market to say the boat. It's there's no point to say that it's going to go down here, except that we don't have I mean, that if you just look at the chart by itself, we're consolidating. And when you have this type of consolidation, either we have some type of expansion above this area, but it's hitting this area of sellers here, and it's putting in like a consolidation or a consolidation area at this point. So for me as a chartist, I would sit there and go, okay, if the market is going sideways here and we're seeing it, make these moves here at this level, I'm more apt to sit there and say that this market might push through this area. Except if you look at the volume, we're not seeing a ton of volume.
What is that price, the high of the day you've got there? Or you have the daily chart or the what chart?
Yeah, I have the daily chart. No, this is the daily. So the high is 37,974. And so this is this mark here that I'm watching going, is this going to go above? As soon as it comes into this area of supply, you can see there's sellers sitting here. I mean, the most we've gone into this level is 300 points. That's a sneeze for Bitcoin, right? Like that's a 2-3 hour, allergy attack. Like boom, boom, and so it's not, but it's not selling off hard. So that's why I'm like, I'm hesitant to sit there and say we're gonna drop fully. That's why I'm giving you guys a good, excuse me, that we're seeing both sides here, right? That's the key as a trader, right? Not to call one way or another. It's to say, all right, these are the potential movements of it coming down. Again, it's that 30,000 mark. If we start to go down, but the key that I'm paying attention is that we're also seeing a crossover, and it's potentially happening here. You can sit there and see this. This is the monthly. We still have the weekly. So, excuse me, not the month. This is the daily chart where we have the 8 and 20 getting ready to cross, and we're not putting any really demand wicks there. And so for me, I sit there and I see it turning around down into these lower levels. Will it go down to that 20,000 mark? If enough push by the SEC and the Feds really starts to come in on crypto, I can see people grabbing their cash and bouncing.
Right.
The other thing is that CZ is going to have to pay personally $4 billion.
No, he pays $50 billion personally. Binance pays the $4 billion.
Oh my goodness, dude.
50 million versus 4 billion. But that's nothing. I mean, they got 22 billion. No, now they have 30 billion in Bitcoin, just Bitcoin. And they probably have 10 billion in Ether and ETH. And
well, where's he going to get it? Are they going to sell off their Bitcoin? Are they going to sell off other assets? Are they going to sell off the treasury notes that they have? It all depends, right? The treasury notes are paying 4%. On the monthly chart, right? So it's like, well, that's a cash cow. Why you're going to do that? So I would assume that, I mean, I would, if I had the cash, right, do what I was to do that. I would sell off Bitcoin, boom, see the drop that's going to cause other people to sell off, and then buy in low at these lower levels. I mean, that would be something that I would do. So drop some comments. Yes. So this is where this is when it gets hard, right? Like at these levels of turnaround, where it's down at a lower level, are we going to shoot up in these demand zone, or are we going to, sell off? So now let's look at Binance, because Binance is really unique. So Binance actually was coming up to an area of supply here. This is a weekly area, so it's really interesting to sit there and see them kind of come up into this area and sell off. They actually held up pretty decent in comparison to their overall market, and they went from 270 down to about 222, And I know people are like, what are you talking about? That's like almost like 30% there. But if you think about crypto and how much it moves, right? Like 30% again, I mean, it can double in a day, triple in a day, right? Like we've seen that. So this isn't that bad of a seller for Binance. And again, we came down to this level here that I've been talking about for a while, right? With Binance is that 204, 205 area. And I do see Binance, honestly, there's a huge seller area, or excuse me, huge buyer area at this 136 area to 118 area. There are a lot of buyers, and obviously we can't see this, but if you look at coin market cap, you'll be able to sit there and see the actual chart itself. If you look at it, maybe one day we'll pull it up there, but it's something to be looking at as a potential buyer. We've bought in these areas here, and we've put this lower high in comparison to this market move right here, which is up and down, right? So this one put in a lower high here. So me personally, they already have bad news. They already have money coming out. They're, the company itself already has a new CEO, which looks like a good CEO. So I do see it maybe seeing some sell off here, as they sell off part of their portfolio and things that they need to raise the cash to pay the SEC. We should see it sell off. So me personally, I'm looking down. Again, this is for financial advice. Excuse me, this is not for financial advice. This is for entertainment, educational purpose. Do not take this as financial advice. And if you do buy or sell in relationship to things that I said, please consult a tax professional.
Harumph.
Yeah, and please put the thing up.
Yeah, I gotta remember to keep to do that.
Now, here's the thing: as you look at this, we're coming up into these levels here where we should see an okay bounce if we hit that 206 area level here, the 205, 204 area level here. But the next one after that is we should see that 135 area here in relationship. So you could get a good discount buy on this when BNB really starts to get moving again. You could, potentially see it get back up to its highs. And I think that 135 almost a 6x to the to its peak.
Oh, Jesus.
So yeah, that potentially could be a pretty big, a pretty good move for you guys. So look at that. If it does come back down to these levels, it's a good little level there. Now let's look at Ethereum, because Ethereum, again, like I'm just impressed with it. It is still showing some good strength. It's still looking like Bitcoin, but Ethereum is really doing a decent job. What's the word I want to use? Staying out of the limelight. Like they're not trying to make any trouble. They're not trying to get in there. There's the BTC ETF as now a ETH ETF coming out, and so you can sit there and see they're just, it's like when your older brother is getting in trouble and your middle brother's in the middle of like everything, or the younger brother's gotten, and the middle brother's is like, all right, I'm gonna step back and watch them get in trouble, right? It's like they don't want anything to do with it. They're just simply plugging along, and even in the midst of hardly any volume after these moves, they're still doing decent on just going sideways in these levels. So it's just one of those things that I was kind of impressed. One last thing, and I don't want to talk about this, is Shiba Inu. We've gone over Shiba Inu over the news.
Oh, I got bad news for you, Pedro.
Talk to me.
While our mics are live, the stream is frozen.
Okay.
Man. Well, go ahead. We're just looking at your chart, but the stream itself is frozen. Just give us finish up what you're saying there, and we'll close it out after that.
That's right. So Shiba Inu is really interesting because Shiba Inu is really talking about some really cool stuff with the technology and where they're planning to move. And with what they're doing, I mean, if you really want to get like the full details, Zach Humphreys goes through and really does an in-depth analysis of a lot of the stuff that Shiba Inu is doing, right? Like it's, so it's a really, really good connection. So, go watch his show. But I look at it from a charting standpoint, and we're already getting this crossover here. And in additionally to that, if we do come back down to the area here that I've talked about, because I do see us coming back down to this 638,599 area, that potentially that is again another good area of buying. And again, this is the really lows of lows. You know,
Just remember, we can't see your chart moving because my system is frozen.
Yeah. It's that area of where these were the lows, like the lows of the lows, like its original lows. So before we exploded back a few years ago. So I would sit there and say, if we come back down again to that area of 638,599, I mean, I think it's 6 zeros, no, 5 zeros, 50638 and 50599. Those areas are really, again, one of those things that I sit there and see really good potential turnarounds and a push up. That's it in a nutshell. But yeah, if you guys will, and we'll go back later in the show and I'll just show you the screen.
You know, maybe Pedro, if you got some time, we'll pop on in a couple hours here later today or something. But I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I thought I had this bug worked out about the system freezing, and I upgraded the couple of pieces of my broadcast software, and it came back. It came back, and so we got a system freeze in the middle of this. But anyway, you know the story.
Are we going to log off and then come back on?
No, I have to. I have a 10 o'clock thing that I got to do, which is in 20 minutes. But we can come back later today. Maybe Pedro and I will work it out. Today was a good day. A lot of people at home watching. Our viewership was good. Sorry to terminate it on you by the stupid machine. So guess what? Guess what Tommy Boy here is asking for Christmas? A new computer. A new computer. But anyway, I enjoyed showing our new studio here. It seemed to work well until the whole system failed. Yeah. And I would gladly play our closing theme, but I can't even do that. I got
Can you just reset it? Is it just simple as a reset, or do you have to just like dismantle stuff and then bring it back up, and it takes a while?
It's pretty much toast because the URL for YouTube resets and then it's a new show and stuff like that.
Got it.
Oh.
It's all good. That's all right. One last thing, and we can bounce off on there, but because right now they don't necessarily need to see us, right? We have a face out there.
Right.
What are your thoughts, literally, on what actually happened with Sam Altman and
my
then
God,
how
Pedro,
Microsoft,
what a effing mess that is.
Right.
I listened to a person talk about it in rather harsh words, in saying that they ended up with a board of directors that don't have a clue about life, and that they're just people thinking that they're the bomb now because they became on the board of directors of this company that exploded. Remember, the board of directors for OpenAI used to be like Elon Musk and a couple other similar stature. I would have this info, but my computer's closed. And then after the Microsoft investment and all that, the corporate structure, it was always a nonprofit organization. And then when it started getting big, they had to say, like, whoa, wait a minute, we need to monetize this thing. And so they have this very complicated corporate structure where a nonprofit owns a profitable company, but that has rights back to the nonprofit status that hooks around through the double Dutch Irish hookity-moo thing like that, and it just became a huge mess. And none of the original board of directors are there anymore. Well, there was one, Sam and the other co-founder, I can't remember his name, and when the other three got together and booted Sam out, the other guy resigned, and then they're just left with the employees doing what, Pedro? What the employees come back and do?
Just said, listen, if y'all do not bring him back, because he's the heart of this company and he's a lot smarter than you guys, we're bouncing. And not only are we bouncing, but we're going over to Microsoft, which that blew me away. Like, you talk about loyalty, you talk about good leadership. I mean, I sit there and I'm like, who has that good of a leader? I mean, I think when Elon Musk got ousted, The employees didn't say, like, hey, no, we're gonna bounce up from you guys. No, I mean, and whether he's liked or unliked, dude, that just me that shows, and not do seven, almost all of your employees, almost all your employees sit there and say, dude, we're bouncing. Like we're not even like
We're done.
we won't.
Toast.
Well, yeah, yeah, and then we'll help him start a new company. And listen, we already know how to do it and set it up, and all they got to do is change a few of the coding, and it's a new business, right? Every coder will tell you, well, it's you could. Now, obviously, there's probably NDAs, but I mean, without the employees, that company's nothing.
Right,
You need them.
right. I mean, ChatGPT, while it seems like it's just a web page, behind the scenes, the tech that powers it isn't. I mean, it's like I think they described it as requiring more processing power than gaming, and so
Yes, yeah.
and so that there's a lot going on behind the scenes for it to work right.
And I sit there and I just go, that is impressive leadership. I don't know what he did or how he went about to get that loyalty, but that's not a small task. That is not something. So the fact is that he had that amount of the employees or the staff to sit there and say, yeah, wherever he goes, we're going. Like, and I've seen interviews of him on Joe Rogan. I've seen interviews of him on, like CNN and CNBC and a few of these other, he'll do. And I have to admit, he is just a genuine, nice guy. You can just see it. He's not a jerk. He doesn't seem like, some people call him like the Antichrist and all this other stuff. But from an actual human standpoint of like, would I chill with this dude? I would. I'd go grab a beer with him. I'd be like, what up, Sammy? Like so, because he's just you can see he's a good dude. I think he really tries, and he really tries to be just a good human being.